Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. Do feel free to take a step a little bit closer. I promise I have had a shower today. The drink will still be there after we finish speaking, I promise. Thank you very much. It is an absolute pleasure and a privilege to welcome you all to the youth reception here. I'm Angus Parside-White, Chief Executive of Conservative Home. We're delighted for another year to be doing this in partnership with Duke of Edinburgh's Award, who are a fantastic partner for us. And I always say this every year, for those of you who've been before, but this is genuinely one of my favourite events we do at a party conference, partly because we put on good food and drink, thanks to Duke of Edinburgh for that, but mainly because Duke of Edinburgh's Award for nearly 70 years has been doing amazing work with young people. I know some of the people I've spoken to around the room are people who've taken part in the award. I myself, 15 years ago, completed my Gold Award, and I'm very happy to be talking about that today. Obviously, the award has evolved over many years. We'll hear a bit about that this evening. But I urge all of you who are, like me, slightly beyond your teenage years, to cast your mind back to what it's like to be a teenager, and then think about adding in pressures of social media, post-pandemic mental health issues, all the pressures that modern teenagers have to deal with, and think about how they navigate those challenges. And I think the DofE is a fantastic example of giving teenagers the skill set, the confidence to go out and face the world, and to be some of the great and fantastic adults that we see some of you in the room this evening. So thank you to all of you for coming along. When I think back to my expedition, my gold expedition was up in the Scottish Highlands, and it's probably then quite fitting that our first speaker this evening is the Member of Parliament for Gordon and Buchan. Please put your hands together for Harriet Cross.
Thanks, Angus, and great to see everyone here. No, I think actually I was 15 years ago doing mine, and I promised to do it together. But it just shows how integral this is, because Angus and I have nothing to do with each other, other than to enter the country probably, but still united through this one incredible thing, which is the Duke of Edinburgh Award. And whether it's the bronze, whether it's the gold, everyone learns something at each stage. And I think for me, obviously there's skills, there's expeditions, there's the services, but what I really got out of it was confidence. Before I did Duke of Edinburgh, and obviously there's a lot of things that also fed into it, I was so shy. I honestly, the thought of even standing here speaking to people would have been beyond me. The thought of standing up in the comments and speaking to people would have been an absolute sort of thing that I couldn't even comprehend. But what the Duke of Edinburgh does is it makes you push yourself past your comfort zone. Comfort zone is everyone's safe space. We love comfort. I mean, that's by definition, it's where we want to be, but it's not where anyone progresses, and that's what DofE is so important in bringing out in everyone. So for me, whether it was my service, I did mountain rescue, so it was going out in sometimes really, really hot, really awful conditions, sort of Scottish winters, knowing that effectively you have to perform. You have to be able to bring that group who's with you along confidently, because they are relying on you. And if they're relying on you, you have to deliver. And there's no point being shy, there's no point hiding, there's no point hoping someone else will do it. Sometimes you have to step up. And whether that is through the service side of Duke of Edinburgh or the residential side of the Gold Award, there's always an opportunity for you to take the lead and for you to bring people with you and inspire as you're going forward. And the Duke of Edinburgh has inspired so many people, generations of people, to sort of try something new and to breach and go across and outside of their comfort zones. And for me, that's something that I valued so much and do still value every day. Because as I said, I've got a younger sister. When we were out, I used to stand behind her and let her do the speaking. I had no interest in standing up and being seen. But everything has a catalyst, and my catalyst was the Duke of Edinburgh Award. It absolutely changed my life, and it will change the life of hundreds of thousands of young people every day. And that is why it always will have my full support, because it is such a fantastic, fantastic organisation. But I think that's my 2 minutes. So I'll leave it there. But have a lovely evening, and yeah, no, it's all my support always. Thank you.
Harriet, thank you very much. And to tell us a bit more about the award, please welcome the Chief Executive of the Duke of Edinburgh's Award, Ruth Marvel.
Thank you so much, Angus and Harriet, for such wonderful words about DofE. We are delighted to be here again. I think it's our third year in a row partnering with Conservative Home. And we've this is sort of now colloquially called the youth reception, and it really is a celebration of youth and of all the things that we know and see at DofE that young people are capable each and every day. There's often a sort of lots of negativity about young people today, lots of problems, lots of things that we need to focus on and we need to help with. And Angus referenced some of them. Mental health crisis, cost of living, challenges with jobs and education. But I think what we see at DofE is every year 550,000 young people took part in the DofE Award last year. We reached about nearly 30% of all 14-year-olds in the country. But we know and we see every day just what young people are capable of if you give them those opportunities to be independent, to take risks, to follow their passions, broaden their horizons, and discover talents that they never knew they had. We have a huge number of challenges on the horizon, and we need young people to be as confident, as skilled, and to have the sort of leadership qualities that are going to help navigate through the sort of turbulent times ahead. We are absolutely committed to trying to give every young person these kinds of development opportunities. We are very grateful to the Conservative government for its support through funding. We have now enabled us to reach, we are in nearly 88% of all mainstream secondary schools in England. And the funding we had under the National Youth Guarantee was incredibly helpful in helping us progress that. We are hoping to be able to get to 100% of all secondary schools and to continue to expand our reach with partners across community organisations, uniformed youth organisations, anyone who works with young people we want to partner with. Because young people need these opportunities, and increasingly I think we see the impact of challenges on young people. We see young people kind of going into adulthood with really high levels of anxiety, and I think both Harriet and Angus spoke incredibly powerfully about the impact that the sort of the DofE experience can have to give young people confidence, to give young people the push that they need to be able to navigate that transition to adulthood successfully. So I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone in the room who supports DofE. I know I can see lots of friends of the award. Thank you to the Conservative Party for all of your support while you were in government to help us grow and reach many more young people, particularly less advantaged young people. I hope we can continue to rely on your support in opposition. Young people need these opportunities, they deserve these opportunities. So thank you. Yeah. It is now my pleasure to hand over to Kia, who is one of our youth ambassadors. She is going to explain what the impact that DofE has had, and much more eloquently than I ever could. So Kia, over to you.
Hi everyone, it's so great to be here to talk to you all today. My name's Kia, I'm 17 and I am a DofE Youth Ambassador. So before I begin, I want everyone in this room to close their eyes. Now imagine you've been walking in the pouring rain for 10 hours. Your feet are aching, you're freezing cold, and you're stuck in a tent, alone, in the middle of nowhere with a puddle forming beneath your sleeping bag. Well, that was one of my more memorable experiences with the Duke of Edinburgh's award, and I wouldn't change a single thing about it. Over the past 2 years, DofE has been at the heart of some of my most cherished memories. When I started my Bronze Award, I was drowning in endless revision and academic pressure. DofE gave me a much-needed break from all of that, a space to step away, challenge myself, and grow beyond the classroom. It became more than just an extracurricular activity to write about in my personal statement. It was a chance to develop my confidence, my resilience, and my independence before entering the next chapter of my life. My time completing my Bronze Award will always hold a special place in my heart. It gave me the chance to fulfill a childhood dream by volunteering in a zoo, an experience that I will never forget. It wasn't just about ticking off volunteering hours. It was about finding a community, learning new skills, and shaping my future. My Bronze expedition was everything I'd hoped it would be. I took on the challenge the weekend before my first GCSE exam. I had blisters on my feet, bags under my eyes, and a massive smile on my face. For those 2 days, exam stress couldn't touch me. The sun was shining, my teammates were singing, and I had plenty of snacks in my pockets. There was nowhere else I would rather have been. That expedition taught me the joy of shared experiences and the beauty of nature, and made me realise just how lucky I was to have the opportunities to explore the glorious British countryside with my friends. But DofE isn't all smooth sailing, and that's where its real value lies. My silver practice expedition the following year tested me like nothing else. The physical and mental exhaustion of trudging through endless mud pushed me to my limits and drove me to tears. Not to mention how the panic of getting stuck in my tent alone after the hardest day of my life nearly made me give up on DofE entirely. I became so caught up in the challenge and my fear and my pain that I forgot to appreciate my teammates, the lessons I was learning, and even the beautiful landscape around me. It was tough, but in hindsight, that struggle is what made me stronger. It taught me that the greatest growth often comes from our hardest moments, and that is a lesson I will carry with me through the rest of my life. And for me, that's exactly what DofE is about. Facing difficulties head on, learning from your experiences, and coming out the other side more resilient, more capable, and ready to take on the world. And with the world being such an unpredictable and challenging place, this resilience, this confidence is worth its weight in gold. I know all too well what it feels like to navigate a world that isn't always kind. I know what it feels like to be unheard or overlooked, especially by those in power. But programmes like DofE give us the chance to stand tall, show what we're made of, and make our marks on the world. The recent DofE Youth Voices report highlighted how many young people feel disconnected from politics. We feel like our priorities, such as mental health, climate change, and economic equality, are often overlooked. But we care deeply about the future of our world, and we want to see meaningful change. That's why spaces like DofE are so important. They show that young people are capable, and they remind everyone of the power of youth. They teach us how to develop our confidence, how to be compassionate, caring members of society, and how to be curious about the world around us. We need more enrichment opportunities outside of school and work that nurture those skills and our potential. Opportunities that get young people outdoors, connected to nature, and involved in our communities, because these are the experiences that shape us into empathetic, responsible, and confident individuals who have the power to change things. So let's keep pushing for more. More spaces where young people can thrive, grow, and make a difference. Because if there's one thing DofE has taught me, it's that we are more than ready to take on the challenges of the future. We just need to be given the chance to do so. Thank you.
Kia, that was fantastic. Can we get another round of applause for Kia, actually? So we've heard a lot about what the Duke of Edinburgh's award gives people. It builds confidence, teamwork, resilience, and stamina and steel. And I think some would argue there is no greater test of steel and stamina than holding a 3.5 kilogram sword for 2 hours with the eyes of the world watching. And so we are delighted this evening to be joined by Penny Morden.
Thank you so much. Thank you. What an amazing, wonderful speech. Thank you so much. And everything she said is why I am here tonight. And thank you, Con Home, for hosting this. Now, no evening about this fantastic award scheme would be complete without a little anecdote about Prince Philip. Would you like to hear a little anecdote about Prince Philip? There were many I could have chosen, but I think you'll particularly like this one. And this was told to me by a Labour MP when we were paying tributes to Prince Philip in Parliament. And this Labour MP and one of his colleagues who'd just been elected, who are very far left in the Labour Party, were invited, as periodically all MPs are, as Harriet will discover, invited to Buckingham Palace to a drinks party with various members of the royal family. On this particular occasion, Prince Philip was hosting. Now, these two MPs hated the monarchy, but they were going to go with the deliberate mindset of being a bit rude and grumpy about the whole thing. So they went along, and during the course of the evening, Prince Philip came up to them, he inquired after their health, and then he said to this newly elected MP, and so what did you do before you got the job that you have now? And the MP said, well, I was a trade union rep for 25 years. And the Prince said, so bugger all then. Not to be outdone, the Labour MP thought, right, I'm not having this. So he said, oh, yeah, and tell us all what you did before you got the job you have now. And Prince Philip said, fought in World War II. And they were firm friends from then on. And of course we miss him terribly. But he had this incredible belief that you owed it not just to yourself, but to everyone to live the best life you could, to make the best use of all the skills and talents and opportunities you could seek out. And that, I think, is at the heart of this scheme. It was based on a philosophy that his headmaster had, and based on a scheme that was at his own school. And that was a philosophy that said that everyone, but particularly young people, have more courage, more strength, and more compassion than they can imagine. And he devised this program that would demonstrate to them, give them a hint of just what they were capable of. And it was based on 4 pillars, and these are the pillars, the original pillars: rescue and public service training, expedition, pursuits and projects, and fitness. Now this, I'm afraid to tell you, sounds awfully like what the party chairman has in store for all of us as we go through this renewal process. But in all seriousness, the legacy that these awards have left is remarkable, and I'm so excited about the future and the future plans. It is a global phenomenon, over 144 countries, I think, or higher than that, but just an incredible global footprint. 50,000 volunteers, is it higher than that now? About 50,000 volunteers, including my dad. He's now in his 80s, and we've only recently managed to persuade him that sleeping in the back of his estate car in the New Forest on an assessment weekend is not a good idea at his age. So I know how hard they all work and how passionate they are about what they do. And the legacy is ultimately millions of people in the UK, but across the globe, are, as a consequence of the Duke of Edinburgh Award, braver, stronger, and kinder. Now, this conference is all about leadership, and I understand that all the candidates already have straplines, but if they didn't, braver, stronger, kinder would be one I think I could get behind. Thank you, Duke of Edinburgh. Thank you for all you've done. I'm going to stick my neck out, and on behalf of my party, we were honoured to partner with you in the last government. We want you to work with us to imagine the future possibilities. Thank you all for everything you do, especially your wonderful speech care, and thank you for all supporting them tonight.
Any more?
Thank you.
Thank you all so much again, and thank you to Duke of Edinburgh's Award for joining us and sponsoring this evening, to all of our speakers, to Kia, to Penny, to Harry, to Ruth. Please do enjoy the rest of the drinks, enjoy the rest of the evening, and if you've still got some stamina in you, later on at 9 o'clock in the Conservative Home Marquee, we've got our silent disco, so I'll see you over there. Thank you.